Hi there everybody, this is Alicia. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am a stationery lover and planner enthusiast who does plan with me's, unboxings and the occasional review. Today we are going to be setting up my 2022 bullet journal for the third and fourth quarter of the year. This video was originally recorded with a Pomodoro timer. If you're not familiar with that, I just use this timer here to break down 25-minute focus sessions and 5-minute breaks. If you guys want to watch a full plan along with me Pomodoro, that video will be going up shortly. But for the meantime, we are just going to get stuck in. I've sped up this video so that you guys can watch the entire process as I set up the bare skeleton of my bullet journal. There is some intensive stencils that go into this that did take me quite a long time to color in. But the majority of this is my bare bones. I will at the very end of this video go through a flip through of what it looks like now. Since filming this, I have personalized it a little bit more and just added a little bit of a flair. So let's get started. So this cover page took me a full 25 minutes to do. I think it actually took me over the first 25-minute Pomodoro, but it was just, I wasn't confident to just go straight in with the marker to start coloring in the stencil that I put down. So I outlined everything first, which now that it's sped up, it doesn't seem like that big of a process, but you'll see glances of the timer. Like at this point, I'm already 5 minutes in. So it took a really long time for me to kind of get over the new notebook feeling of being scared to make a mistake. But I'm really, really happy with how this page ends up turning out. It was definitely worth the amount of time that it took, and it kind of sets the tone for the theme that I wanted to go for this second half of the year. I wanted to kind of go with like airport departure and arrival boards because we are finally taking a trip this year. It will be our first one in 3 years. With the whole pandemic and everything, it kind of put all of our travel plans on hold. So I wanted to just highlight the fact that we're going to be traveling again and we're going to be experiencing the world. So I chose that departure board lettering. Now, at the bottom, I had originally decided to have July to December written out there, but I just didn't like how it looked on the page anymore once I'd seen it outlined. So I decided to remove it. And then I just shaded in everything that was supposed to be black. This cover page, like, I cannot believe how long it ended up taking me, but I really do think it was worth it. You'll see how it looks, and you can let me know in the comments below if it was worth the amount of time that it took, or if you think I could have achieved it quicker. Um, yeah, there isn't really much else to say about this cover page besides it took a really long amount of time and I really, really like it. I think once I got on to the 2022 section, I quickened up a bit, but like I can't really remember. I only filmed this like yesterday and I can't remember when I started to pick up the pace a bit, but it definitely wasn't during writing out Bujo, that's for sure. So, what theme are you guys going with in your bullet journal for the second half of the year? Um, I've seen some really, really beautiful themes coming out on YouTube in the past few weeks, and I'm just blown away by how creative the bullet journal community is and how gorgeous the spreads I'm seeing are. This is possibly the most minimal I've ever set up a bullet journal. Usually, I go for ridiculously long color coding sequences and I kind of lose the basis of bullet journaling. That's kind of one of the reasons why I decided to go back to it because it is such a basic system that I kind of needed to just get back to the bare bones of planning. So here you'll see I move on to the key and index page. As I've been out of the bullet journal loop for a number of years. I did want to set up a key again. Usually I would have left it out because I knew my old one off by heart, but I don't anymore, so I have to set up my key again. There's a few things that I add in that aren't a part of the original bullet journal method, and that's like the memories, which I mark off with a little heart. I also do like in progress or started, instead of just complete and task. So there's a few extra little ones in there. I might go into that in a little bit more detail after I've been back in my bullet journal for a while. Now, the index, it's super straightforward. It's a page where I put down what number it's on. And yeah, it's an index. I did like that I interchanged here between the black outline of the boxes and the white outline of the boxes. It kind of made setting that page up a little bit easier. I think at this point I kind of got sick of the letters and I decided I was going to draw out my grids for different spreads because I just needed a break from writing out stenciled letters. This page here is my future log. It's very straightforward. Um, Unlike a lot of people, I don't actually date my future log. I will put the month that's relevant to each column, but I don't date it because um, I always find that limits me to having a task per day for the future. So I leave mine undated, and then when something comes up, I will pop in the date and the event so that if I end up having a doctor's appointment and a dinner on the same day, I don't feel like I'm stuck with not being able to put that in because that line's already filled. So here you'll see that I just simply break the page into three, do a little banner across the top of each row so that I can easily mark off the month. Oh, sorry, that was the one after. So I did my future log and then I flipped over to the one that I'm titling Alicia Plans. It's for all things content related, like my Instagram and this YouTube channel. I don't think at this point I blocked off the top of the future log, but so here we're already on to, I think, the third Pomodoro. So I've already spent an hour at this already, including two 5-minute breaks. But yeah, that's actually something else I'll kind of touch on. So this full setup took me 2.5 hours. The stenciling was the majority of what took me time, but I feel like it makes it more cohesive having my one theme throughout it and not just on my cover page. But yeah, so this setup in total took me 2.5 hours. If you are new to bullet journaling, you don't need to do any of this. This is all for aesthetic purposes. Having my stenciled letters at the top, if I had stamps to do this, I probably would have used stamps. It would have been a lot quicker, but I didn't, and I wanted to stick to this font, so I went with it. And like this is a hobby for me. It's not just sitting down and setting up my journal so it can be functional. This is the part I enjoy. So this spread here is probably one of my favorite spreads so far in the journal. This is my books spread. So I had a goal of reading 100 books this year. It didn't go according to plan. I took a few months off reading because just life got messy. But now I am back. I'm not on track for that goal. I have adjusted my goal to 52 books, so one book a week. And this area here, I'm breaking it down into 4 books per month, a space at the top for 2 fiction books, and a space at the bottom for 2 non-fiction books. I have reworked my morning routine to include time specifically for non-fiction. So, yeah, I actually really, really like how this spread turned out. Especially once I erase that pencil line in the middle, because at the moment that pencil line is throwing me off. I'm not sure about you guys. But yeah, so we're, I'd say, about halfway through the setup at the moment. I have skipped a few things on previous pages just because I didn't have the, I don't know, I didn't have the focus to continuously do the lettering. I had to like break it up between drawing out different stencils, or sorry, different layouts, and then doing that. This also revolutionized the bigger letters for me. Like the big letters on on the front page took me so long compared to this. Like I breezed through this. And yeah, so this was my July cover page, obviously. And then after this, I think I do go back and fill out some more of the lettering on the previous pages and then set up July. I decided not to set up a week during this spread, just because I wanted to leave it closer to the date that I'd actually be using it. Because as this is set up for July and it's still midway through June at the moment, I didn't want to be looking at a weekly spread that I can't use, if that makes any sense. But a monthly spread didn't bother me. I don't know. Just the way my mind worked with it. So there's the July page. Then this is my calendar page. For the Nuna, the grid spacing is quite different because of the grid size. It is a 3.5 millimeter grid, so it is 40 boxes across by 56 down. So I've broken this into 8 by 8 boxes for the calendar. So 8 squares by 8 squares for each box. So that fit 5 days perfectly within it because both sides of this all four sides of each page have a margin, which I personally love. I don't like when a dot grid goes to the very edge and like half a square is cut off. I find that it really confuses me when I'm drawing out spreads, whereas this just worked perfectly for me. So here I go back and fill out some more of this lettering. This is about the time I decided that I did not need to outline with a fine liner. It doesn't look as clean, the finished product, but it did make drawing out these letters a lot quicker, and I still like how it turned out. I actually love how it turned out. I think the less rigid lines make it look more crafty in a way. But yeah, and it sped up the process massively. So there's that. So this is going back to that spread I mentioned earlier, the Alicia Plans spread. So this has just that lettering at the top. I have actually gone in and divided this spread out much more. And don't worry, I do go back and fill in that little piece of the A that I missed. Looking back on this, I don't know how I missed it at the time, but I do realize it at the very end of this clip. Well, not this clip, but the end of the video. I realize it and fill it in. But yeah, I think this made this process a lot quicker, which kind of made it more enjoyable because I was starting to get a little bit bogged down by how long this not the process of the whole setup was taking, but just the lettering. I was just getting sick of it at this point, and I'm very happy I don't have to do it again for another month. Then we move on to my goals and travel page. So these two pages are the most minimal out of the whole spread. I just have titles on them at the moment. I think I've gone in and done a little grid on them just to break it up a little bit since I filmed this, but I didn't feel a need to go in and draw out an elaborate layout at the time. Mainly with goals, that's something that I will fill out in my own time off camera because I do think goals can be quite personal. And the travel section, we only have one trip currently planned, so I'll fill this spread out as we travel. So, what I hope to do is pop in the travel dates that we've been away and maybe a small picture from each trip. We'll see how it goes and how I actually decide to use this spread. But I do want an overview of everywhere that we went during the second half of this year. So, that is what this page is for. Then we are flipping back into the book spread. Um, this, I just, I don't know, I hated the lettering at this point. I love how it looks, but man, while I was filling this out, did I just want to stop lettering. Stenciling can be quite boring after a while, and this at this point I think I'm just about to hit 2 hours. Or am I just about to hit 2.5 hours? I don't know. I was sick of it at this point. It was a long time to just sit down and do it all in one go. You'll notice for my July calendar, I did not do a stenciled heading. Yeah, so here we are. We're at the last few bits here. So this is where I break off the top of the future log to write the months in. I just used like an all caps font here. I actually do like how that turned out, but I kind of wish I blacked it out and wrote it with a white pen. I do have a white gel pen that I could have used, or a Posca. So we are almost at the flip. This is where I realized I forgot to fill out my habit tracker. I have done more on this page as well since the last time, or since this was filmed. I kind of wanted to add more, I don't know, more, not decoration. There is a little bit of decorative elements to it, but it's just not a straightforward blank page anymore. This page is just as blank as it was when I first set it up. This is where my rolling monthly will go. The only thing that needs to go in here is the day of the week and the tasks when it's time. So there was when I filled in that little A that I missed, and just popping in everything here in my index so that I can easily flip to the pages I need. So here we have the final flip of how my Bujo looked at the end of this planning session. As I mentioned, I'm going to tack on a little how it currently looks to the end of this video so you can see what I did extra to just add a little bit of pizzazz to it, because it just didn't seem personal enough at this point. So we'll have a look at that now. And now we have a little look of what my planner looks like now. I have added quite a few little details of personalization, and I absolutely love how it turned out. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the bullet journal setup. I hope you guys have a magical week. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys soon.